Frederick Boucher, and he is the owner and winemaker here at Ports of New York. This place is amazing. It's not your typical winery because you have such a history and you sell ports here. So let's just talk a tiny bit about the ports and then we're going to get back to that.
All right, so I only make 2 port wines. They are port vinification method wines because legally we cannot call them ports. Ports can only come from the region of Portugal. Port wines or fortified wines came about in the early 1600s when Europeans started to go all over the world and travel on their ship. The problem is that none of the wines could actually survive. So one of the ways of making them survive was to add alcohol to them.
To make fortified wine, it's simple. Before the wine completely ferments, a distilled spirit is added. This creates a much higher alcohol content than most regular wine.
I grew up in a winery, which started in 1919. And eventually this winery was sold in 94, which is the year after I arrived in Ithaca. And I moved to Ithaca because my wife teaches here. I didn't come for the wine. And since it was a wine region and the family winery was sold, I thought, maybe I will start my own winery.
Maybe it's a calling.
You know, so basically I was lucky enough to get some of these objects from the original winery shipped here. This is a still from the mid-1800s, which was in the original family winery. Why a still? A still is necessary to add an alcohol to a port vinification wine in order to stop the fermentation. So you heat up your wine and you fill it up about 3/4, and at 175 Fahrenheit, the vapors of ethanol are going to look for the exit. And they will start to rush through the gooseneck, go in the condenser, and as it cools down, it condensates, and then it drips the alcohol in the bottom. So all of these objects here are from the original family winery.
Right.
So this is a basic corker, for instance. That's a stirrer. The stirrer that goes inside a cask. It's cast iron and brass. This folds to go in a hole, and when you spin it, it opens. This is
interesting.
That's when you had a wine with a lot of sediments. The only way you can serve it without the sediments was to open the bottle, let the sediments settle, and once they are in the bottom, you can finally serve the wine, and in this case, the entire content of the bottle, glass after glass, without stirring the sediment. They just slide all the way on the glass.
Frederick, I just need to know what that thing is.
Well, this is a very early smuggling belt. So this was for suspenders, and it was used for smuggling distilled spirit from farms to villages.
Wow, these items are treasures. And speaking of treasures, are the photographs that you have hanging here.
So these 2 photographs were taken in 1919, which was the first year the winery started. The 3 buildings that we see here, we can see them here on the street side. These are the 3 facades. And now this is the shape of the street and before D-Day. And this is the shape of the street after D-Day.
Wow.
And the city was destroyed at over 90%. But one thing that was pretty extraordinary is that this bomb that we see here, it never detonated. It's a whole bomb. And it fell in a courtyard. And as a result, this building was completely spared. The man here with a bottle of champagne is my great-grandfather. With next to him his daughter, and here my father. And that's the whole family in the vineyards here.
Wow. And while the tools and equipment may have changed over the years, Frederick's hard work and dedication to creating great wines still remain.
So here is a fermentation room. I can ferment a maximum of 7 tons of grapes. So these wines are made like any other wines in the beginning, except that before the end of fermentation, I will add a distilled spirit that is here on your right. That's 175 proof. It's a grape distilled spirit.
Wow.
And why we add this? In order to fortify the wine, kill the yeast, keep some of the sugar from the grapes themselves. So these wines have no addition of sugars. All the sugars are from the grapes themselves.
Wow. Well, this is really cool in here, Frederick. Tell me what happens in these oak barrels.
Well, this is where the wine is aged. So it's aged by year So each row is a blend of different years. So the bottom row contains the oldest wine, and that is the row from which I draw a certain amount of wine to bottle every year.
Excellent. So right now we're going to actually get to taste some of this fabulous port. All right, sounds good.
Okay. So this is a Cab Franc, a Merlot, and a Noire. Cab Franc and Merlot are vinifera grapes, and Noire is a hybrid that was developed by Cornell.
Oh, that's good.
So they're very soothing.
So soothing.
They really are, and it's really comforting. It's not a wine
it's
that
sweet,
is.
but it's not like too sweet.
No,
it's
absolutely.
very smooth.
Yeah. The other one is a white version of it. It will be a completely different experience.
It is completely different, but good.
A world
but
apart.
So different. Yeah.
Very aromatic. I say that the red is bold.
Correct.
And the white is elegant.
Well, Frederick, thank you so much for having us here at Ports of New York and teaching us all about port wine.
Well, you are very welcome. I really enjoyed it. And these are fascinating wines, and I'm looking forward to have more visitors.
Exactly. Remember, it's Ports of New York in Ithaca. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.